How's it going, New World? Sethphir here, and today we are back, and this time we are taking a look at Reddit, as they do have some data mined information. So credit's going to go out to this user on the screen here, Paralis, and sorry if I butcher your name, but he made a post that has a lot of good changes here, and of course I will link that down in the description below so you can see some of the stuff that is planned and upcoming. This is going to be just information that's pulled from the PTR. Some of it is within the PTR, like within game, and some of it is just within the data mine of the PTR or the code. So let's go ahead and see what is coming up into the future here. So first we have a lot of cleanup and development. It looks like Brimstone Sands, Isabel's Lair, the Expedition, and Arandis Caverns. So these are all future expeditions that are coming. There are probably 6 of them in total, as Amazon has stated in the past and we talked about in several other videos. So it looks like they're touching up on these and getting them ready for delivery. You can no longer place camps in Invasion. That's very good. Twitch company crests and armor dyes coming soon. That's going to be a nice one. Can't wait to see that. Lots of tracking for anti-bot and gold selling measures. That is perfect because we do not want gold sellers in this game, and botters definitely ruin all the fun. So let's get them out of here. A new partial ban penalty, so that's going to be even better. So people that are repeatedly abusing bugs and mechanics, they are going to be punished, and they are going to get a penalty for that. So there may be something else in store. Maybe it's like a flag on your account. So just be aware, play the game as it's intended, and don't cheat, right? No one likes a cheater. So let's go on and cover up the next section here. This is going to be emotes. So it looks like you got a couple of different things. Cry, chest pound. I like chest pound. That's good. Nose blow, fireworks, leg dance, cold belly laugh gift. A couple of interesting stuff. It looks like the greatsword is being worked on. This is going to be one of my personal favorite weapons, as it does have a spell sheet or a data sheet now. The blunderbuss is being adjusted a bit. It's getting some different of weapon effects, because this is one of the weapons that we saw in the past that was data mined, and everybody was talking about, you know, back then, before the Void Gauntlet existed, they were like, ooh, Void Gauntlet and blunderbuss and daggers and all this stuff. So it's good to see that. New random encounters, so it looks like they have some sort of like rare spawn type situation going on. I love that. Personally, coming from games like Phantasy Star Online, my favorite enemies were the ones that would appear randomly, and they would have like special unique loot tables, and it was super fun to find, so that's always awesome to see. The next one we have is upcoming holiday events. It looks like they are finally going to put some holiday events into the game, and that is nice to see as well. I always like Christmas collectibles, Halloween collectibles, things like that, so this will be a good and welcome change. They are increasing the territory standing within the game, or the XP within the game, from 1 to 1.25x. So it looks like it may be a bit more to get there. They're also increasing the amount of XP or level for trade skills. So weaponsmithing, for example, is going up. So this will be some interesting changes. May want to go ahead and get that, you know, knocked out of the way before these changes hit. They're also increasing the XP rewards for leveling them up as well. So it looks like it's going to be like a viable method to level your character. They have some balance changes, and they list some here, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of skip through some of these and go to, you know, this other. I have another section that has a more detailed list of all of these changes. There's a lot more than what's just listed here, so we'll take a look at that. And the final one to note down here at the bottom is this slow status effect. So it, like, slows might be working like better than they were before, because like as it stands now, your slow just hits them and they're like, ha ha ha, that's really funny, but maybe it's actually going to have more impact, so that would be nice. Looking down at the bottom here, it looks like they have added in something called game mode mutators. So this is going to be like dungeon mutations. It looks like there is 10 ranks, or a maximum level of 10 on these. It may make the dungeons more difficult, as you can see Amarine here, Eden's Grove, Reekwater. So it's going to affect the low level dungeons as well as the high level dungeons. So we might actually see some difficult versions of content coming up soon, which is super welcome. I would love if they had anything like Mythic Dungeons in WoW, where it scales up really high and you could get extra gear or higher rare loot or something like that, more loot even. Any of those situations would be fantastic, and being able to do a dungeon like Amarine on a super high difficulty would be really fun in my opinion. Because as it stands now, you just have done Animarine like once or twice for the quest, maybe while you're leveling up, and you've never touched it ever again, right? And that's just unfortunate because it's a really nice dungeon. Next, we have some more store items, and a couple of these are looking really nice. This one in particular, I like this little like antler setup. Makes you look very druid-like. Definitely a good go-to. Going on to the next one, this one looks like a bard or something. I like the feather in the hat. It's very clean and sleek. There is a few of these like pictures that they've been using on their like website that have kind of demonstrated people like this, and it's good to finally see a character model in game and a cosmetic in game that we could actually wear. This one looks amazing. This is apparently combat rogue, classic RPG rogue. I like the hood, I like the armor and everything. This looks very clean and will probably be a pickup for me. Next one is a wizard. This reminds me of something from like Gauntlet Legends? I have no idea, but this looks awesome. I really enjoy this little aesthetic here. I might actually get this one as well. I like the little potions on the side. That's pretty cool. Next one we have a harvester, which it's okay. I mean, I like the little straw hat. That's definitely a good cosmetic. The rest of it just kind of looks like a harvester kit set, so for me it doesn't look any different from like the armor you would place on yourself when you're going for harvesting luck. This next one looks really cool. Royal Court Heavy. Yeah, definitely some nice design on this. A lot of detail on the armor. I like the gold blade, and the helmet looks great, where it's like melded, the crown's melded with the skull. I feel like that's very symbolic, and it definitely looks really scary, so quite intimidating. I love this. I love the like sort of plated coated shoulder pads here. This one's definitely going to be a pickup for me. I like that one. The next one is going to be a Royal Court Medium. He definitely does look pretty cool. I like his little hood aesthetic going on with the little like Harlequin mask. I'm not sure exactly what that is. His armbands kind of look like popcorn containers though to me, so I don't know about that. Like that one looks a bit odd, and he's got this zebra chest piece on, so maybe this is a mix and match one. You get some good elements. And then next we have this sort of like pompous looking guy who has this weird face helmet on that just covers his eyes only, so he can't see. I don't know how this is practical or what this does, but it's got the little crown thing. I do like the like shirt and the pants. They definitely look pretty nice. This little one-up arm guard or shoulder guard looks pretty cool with the little tassel thing over here. So some of this stuff does look quite nice indeed. Scrolling down a little bit further, it looks like we have camp skins. I like this one. It looks like a little bit of a swampy looking feel, like a little ragtag swampy. This one reminds me of something in Zelda. Yeah, I like this one as well. And wow, they're just getting fancier and fancier, huh? This one's more like gypsy looking to me. And oh man, finally you're just rolling out the red carpet, huh? You got like the chandelier, the throne, and everything. This must be for the rich people, I suppose. But that one's definitely quite nice. So if we take a look at all of these, all in all, we got a lot of great content coming. Camp skins, regular skins into the store. We have dungeon mutators into the future, which is going to be new difficulties, so that's going to be fantastic. A lot of weapon changes and changes to the way some mechanics work in the game. Some trade skill and territory XP changes, holiday events, new weapons coming, new emotes coming. You know, the more banning of bots and all these type of cheaters, like get them out of here. Definitely good to see. And also new content coming in the future. The Brimstone Sands, Isabella's Lair, and Erandis Caverns, as well as some other dungeons that are not listed and mentioned here. So all in all, a great time for New World. Lots of exciting things on the horizon. Now let's go ahead and dive into those weapon changes. We're going to go ahead and switch over to the tab here. And this next post is by Knight Mario, which I believe, if it's one of the same, one of my subscribers reached out to me, and they said it was Momo on Discord. Gave me this list, actually, I think before this post was made, and there was a lot of stuff here, so credits to everyone involved who did do this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the changes. So we have some sword and shield changes here. Looks like Leap Strike is getting a damage buff. Okay, that's not the issue, but it is a step in the right direction. Leaping Strike's cooldown is also being lowered by a gigantic 7 seconds, which will help it out quite a lot. They have been working a lot with Leap Strike. It looks like they really want it to be good. And I like seeing them work with all of these weapon skills and to increase them and make them further. Next, we have the Rapier. Tondo, 11 seconds to 6 seconds cooldown. What? 5 seconds off? That's going to be insane. You're going to be able to get so many bleeds off. I'm a little worried that may be a bit too strong, but we'll see how it goes. Riposte cooldown is being lowered by 8 seconds, and the stun duration is being increased. Okay, Amazon, here's the thing. No one cares about stun duration because stun is not a real stun. I mean, we may care a tiny bit, but when something gets a 1 or a 0.5 second increase in stun or a 1 second increase in stun, it doesn't matter because it's a sleep, not a stun. And as soon as something takes damage on it, it's immediately woken up. So you can't do anything with this. Like, you stun a mob, everyone's damaging it, so it immediately gets out of stun. It does nothing. It's just a small interrupt. If this is going to be the case, you want a stun duration, stuns need to actually be stuns, at least in PvE combat, because in PvP combat, that would be really terrifying, having super true stuns on people. So, you know, watch that balance there, but maybe change some of these stuns to a different category. Like, I don't know, like a knockdown is more of a stun in this game than a stun is. A stun is really sleep, if that makes any sense. So moving on, lasting consequence from 2 seconds to 2.5 seconds, and momentum change from 25% damage to 30% damage. That is the final talent of the Rapier right side tree. So good overall buffs for the Rapier. This should make it a stronger weapon and more competitive with the other weapons. And I'm interested to see if we could actually get a melee weapon that was used besides the Great Axe and the Warhammer. That would be great. So next we have Hatchet Aerial Transmission, duration from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. This is a great change. Aerial Transmission is the final talent of Infected Throw, which allows you to make a diseased cloud around the area where you hit. This is really good because we need anti-healing in the game. Something of it, some form of it, right? And it needs to be skillful anti-healing. You can't just slap anti-healing on everything. It needs to be directed and limited in time so that you have a kill window and not just perma anti-healing up all the time, right? So this is a good ability here. Very good buff. Rending Throw cooldown. This is the one that lowers armor. You throw the hatchet. So it went from 15 seconds to 8 seconds. That's a gigantic buff. And we might see some play for this, maybe. Maybe throwing hatchets is a thing. Who knows? That definitely looks interesting. I'll go ahead and test some of that. Next, we have the Spear, which for sure was strong before, so I don't know. I feel like a lot of people sleep on the Spear, but let's see what they got in store. Cyclone weapon damage going up 20%. That's quite a lot. The Deadly Consistency stack is going up from 1 to 3, so that's going to be an interesting damage buff as well. Coup de grace is going from 125 to 150 weapon damage. That is the last strike on the Spear sweep. So that's a damage buff as well. Perforates weapon damage per hit is going up 10%, and that's going to be times 3, so 30% overall. And then the Skewer bleed, oh my, 10% to 20% weapon damage bleed. That might be too, well, that's going to hit really hard. We'll see how it goes, but before, Skewer was doing one of the nastiest bleed dots in the game, almost like 125% damage or something like that. It was really dirty, but now it's going to be even worse. It's going to be like 200, 300% damage. So the Spear may actually be viable and very strong, especially, I think it was before in terms of strong, like stun lock, but now it's actually going to do damage. So this could be really scary if you get a lot of those bleeds on you. Maybe some like Spear or Rapier play, like I don't know, some melee decks. We might see something different in the game, and that's really welcome. The Great Axe charge is going from unstoppable to grit. So usually the Great Axe charge would just kind of plow through everything. Looks like grit means it will only be stopped by stuns now. I've heard mixed results. I've heard it could be stopped by stuns before, but I don't know. It feels like you could just do whatever you want with the Great Axe charge, so that'll be an interesting change. Whirlwind now has grit. This is important. Whirlwind is now probably a viable skill, because the problem with Whirlwind before was if anything hit you, you were just out of Whirlwind and you wouldn't do anything. But it does do quite a bit of damage. We'll see how the animation works and how the DPS goes. Might need some more love, but that is a good start. That is a very good start. And in my opinion, most moves, especially melee moves, should probably have grit on them. Because, I mean, why not? Like, you need to actually cast your stuff. But we'll see how it goes into the future. Gravel Foe is held 30% longer, is now changed to a 0.25 second root. What? That's insane. That's That's way too good. That's way too good. So now everyone's going to get a mini stun in their movement. That's going to be insane. It's going to be too powerful. So the heavy pull is going to stun. The gravity well is going to stun. Maelstrom's going to stun. Reap is going to stun. And when I say stun loosely, because yes, it's a root, but a root means you can't dodge. A root means you can't move. It might as well be a stun. You're pretty much forced to sit there and be a sitting duck. So we'll see how those changes come in. The Warhammer is getting a buff. Lasting Trauma, which is the armor rend, going from 15% to 20%. That is gigantic. People are going to be taking more damage now. The Opening Act is going up from 15 to 25% damage, so quite a big buff there as well. The Exhaustive Attacks is going to get a 5% buff, so that is quite nice to see, as you may be able to keep people's stamina gauges down in PvP. Mighty Gavel is getting a 2-second cooldown lower and a weapon damage buff, so this move is going to hit incredibly hard now, going up 20% on the second hit for Mighty Gavel, Justice for All, and 10% on the first hit, as well as a 2-second cooldown lower. So this is going to be a very strong powerhouse move. Wrecking Ball, which is the knockdown, is getting a 10% weapon damage buff, which is also great. And Safety Measures is going to get you from a 4-second buff duration to a 7-second buff duration, which is longer Fortify, so that is welcome as well. Next, we're going to have the bow, which we're going to see some adjustments here. Poison Shot cooldown is being lowered by 5 seconds. And the direct hit damage is going to be lowered as well. And I think that's fair because bow was doing a lot of damage before. Poison Shot was definitely hitting really hard. Rain of Arrows radius from 7 meters to 3 meters. Ooh, that's rough. That's going to make that feel unplayable. I don't know about this one, Amazon. That's maybe it needs a nerf somewhere, but the radius, like, you have to hit them. That's never fun to have a tiny hitbox. Anyways, next one, Rapid Shot. The cooldown is going to be lowered gigantically, so they really want to encourage a single target DPS, so that's really nice. Splinter Shot can no longer headshot, so decent changes coming in there. Next, we have the Musket Power Shot. Cooldown is going down a little bit. Same with Shooter Stance and Stopping Power, so quite a few buffs on the Musket side. And, woo, this is a huge change here. Sticky Bomb getting 50% damage buff. It already hit really hard before on a low cooldown, so this might be quite terrifying at this point. I could just imagine a lot of musket users chucking bombs onto the points in PvP, and this is kind of fun. I like this. I like it. You throw the sticky bomb and it sticks to whatever you hit it. So for me, it reminds me of plasma grenades in Halo, and that was always a good time, especially if you got a stick on somebody across the map. So that's a fantastic buff there. Next, we have some Fire Staff adjustments. Looks like a bit of a buff on the Pillar of Fire. That's going to hit really hard, 135 to 170 weapon damage, especially if the double hitbox is still there, because I know there's instances in which you can get a double or triple hit off a Pillar of Fire if it's placed correctly. Next, we have the Prophet of the Fire God nerf, 5% critical damage going down, 5% crit chance going down as well, so a lot of passive nerfs here. 5% less damage with the Ruinous of Helios, and it looks like Singed and Watch It Burn passes are swapped, so I can't remember exactly where those are on the talent tree, but that will definitely change the build side, because Watch It Burn is an important move, as it will give you more auto attack damage over time. Next one, we have Clear Casting. The damage boost is going down by 5%, and power going down by 5% on Clear Mine. And it looks like the Pyromania debuff is also going down by another 5%. So basically, they're saying Fire Staffs are way too strong. We're going to go ahead and nerf them. So that'll be an interesting change. I think as it stood before, there were quite a lot of mages, but honestly, I felt like bow users did more damage than mage users, and everyone knows that everyone's running around with Great Axe Warhammer, right? That's pretty much a lot of what you see in war. So we'll see how this meta shapes up. Flamethrower buff, you'd love to see it. 34% damage to 50% damage. It might help a little bit, but I don't know if it's quite there. We'll see how that all turns out. And it looks like a final touch on Reheat, which is the mana regen from a 6-second cooldown to 4-second cooldown. That is not the problem. That is not the problem, Amazon. The problem is that no one cares about mana regen. No one cares about it. You can simply pop a pot and recover your mana to full. No one has mana problems. It's just not a thing, especially with the dodge mana talent on intellect. This just needs to be useful instead of getting mana back, right? So that's the problem there. Life Staff. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, and this is going to be the final one. Life Staff and Ice Gauntlet all the way down at the bottom. So it looks like a lot of nerfs to healing here. Divine Embrace going down from 150% weapon damage to 120%. Sacred Ground, the duration is going down, and the weapon heal from the tick percent is also going down. So these are welcome changes. Healers were a bit too powerful in wars and felt like, you know, God amongst men who could basically tank 3 to 4 members of the enemy team if they were very good. Now they might actually be mortal and we might be able to kill them. Holy Ground regen stamina is faster while inside the Sacred Ground, and the regen stamina is been lowered by 50%, so that's going to be a good nerf as well, so you won't be able to dodge forever while in the Sacred Ground. The Blissful Touch is also being lowered by 4% weapon damage on the auto attack healing. Enchanted Justice lowered by 2%. Splash of Light got a buff increase, so that's the AoE heal overall. Nice to see that one. Shared Recovery is going to get more mana regen here. Protector's Blessing getting a less heal from the heal over time from the orb. Light's Embrace healing is going to go down as well, and probably justfully so, as it was healing quite hard with multiple buffs on. You will now get more mana back when you use the Light's Embrace, which is good, welcome as well. And then Beacon has a 4% damage nerf, or weapon damage nerf, so it's not going to do as much DPS coming out there. I think that's fair, because healers doing a bunch of healing and DPS, not great. Now we have a few changes here. It looks like Ice Gauntlet is a little mixed up with everything. So Ice Gauntlet Wind Chill is going to be buffed by 4% weapon damage per hit. Interesting, but the problem is there's no grit when you're casting Wind Chill, and it just feels bad to sit there and channel some weak damage hitting move. I don't think 20% is enough. I'll give it another try. I'll test it out, but we'll see how to go from there. Looks like the crit chance at full stamina is getting nerfed by 5%. Heavy Freeze has a 5-second cooldown. This is fantastic. No longer are the days where you get ice showered or ice stormed and someone spams heavy attack on you until you die because you are constantly 1 second stunned. You now actually have the ability to play the game, and there is a bit of a cooldown on that. So that is a good change. We will no longer see melee users getting completely shut down by this, but I'm a little worried for the melee meta because it was very strong before. Now it's going to be really strong, and you're nerfing all the counters to melee damage, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, going on, Ultimate Chill, 35% damage, going to 25% damage, so a 10% damage nerf, so quite heavy nerf on all these mage abilities. Crit chance is being lowered from 20 to 15% while in the frosted area, and the tick rate of Ice Storm is going to be lowered from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. And the cooldown of Ice Storm is going to be increased by 10 seconds. This is a massive nerf, so massive. It will do way less damage, and you will be able to do it half as often, so it's going to be very impactful here. Pylon Refresh now has a max lifetime of 45 seconds. Interesting. Okay, so you can have a cap on it, can't be infinite, and then the Entomb mana cost has been removed. So these are some good changes overall. Again, a little worried for the meta, but that's what the PTR is for. Let's get in there. Let's test these things. These are all active on the PTR right now. These changes, the previous ones we were talking about are Datamine ones, so make sure to make the difference between the two. But these are some nice things overall. I'm very interested in Rapier and Spear. I'm also interested in seeing some of the other abilities like Sticky Bomb come into play. And the Life Staff nerfs were probably warranted. They might have hit mages a little too hard, but we'll see how it works. Maybe they'll still be fine and all will be well. So that was quite a bit to go through. Thanks for sticking with it, everyone. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell, as we will be doing a lot of this stuff in the future. Also, make sure to check out the channel. We have a join button down below for members, so you can go ahead and check that one out today, and a Discord in the description link down below that will allow you to get access to the community and maybe ask me some questions yourself if you want. Thanks again for watching the video, and we will catch you in the next one.